What it do, y'all? What it is, y'all? It's your boy, Mr. Forbes. Got my boy Reddy here. This is the first edition of Forbes and Red Locker Room Talks. Welcome to the locker room. To our fellow new subscribers, people that subscribe to us, welcome to the show. Got my boy Red in the cut, man. What's happening?
What's good, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the first episode of Locker Room Talks with
Yes,
Forbes
sir.
and me. You know, we're just starting out, so if we a
Yes,
little
sir.
bit, rookie-ish, let us know in the comments below, and we'll improve. But as of today, let's get into today's topics.
Yes, sir. But for those of you who don't know us, like he said, I'm Forrest. That's my nickname, but I'm Marcellus Polk. That's my normal name. You know what I'm saying? From Chicago, both from Chicago, two Chicago kids. Me and Red grew up together. You could say we grew up together since yay high, since high school, but it's like forever. I knew Red in high school. I knew Red. Me and Red went to college together for 2 years, and it was a great 2 years, 2.5 years, excuse me. It was a great 2.5 years. We was there. I got my degree. He got his degree. And now we're finally doing this podcast. We've been talking about this podcast for a few years now. Now we got it up and running. Yes, pandemic. It's the perfect time to do it. Pandemic going on, do a podcast. Yeah, we both got busy schedules, but now we here. People, like he said before, like and subscribe at the bottom of the screen on YouTube. Give us a thumbs up if you like us, man. Leave us in the comments what we need to improve on, just in case. But like he said, we're gonna get into this topic. What we're gonna talk about today, Red.
Ooh, we gonna move into do NFL or the MLB?
Yeah, man. We can actually we're gonna start off on the MLB. Actually, we go NBA because the Lakers just won the championship. So the Dodgers, so both LA teams. So we could jump into both of those together. So basically, like with those situations, both leagues had a similar situation, but the NBA had a bubble, MLB didn't have a bubble. But with the NBA and that situation with the bubble, congratulations to the Lakers. Obviously, as you can see, I'm rocking LA right now. You know, but congratulations to the Lakers on winning their 16th championship. I'm sorry, 17th. Tied Boston. Excuse me. They tied Boston with the most championships in NBA history. Kirk Kraft to LeBron on getting that fourth ring that he's been chasing so long to get for some years. He was injured last year, got hurt, pulled his groin. He came back healthier on revenge. Got his boy AD on the team with him. So it's just amazing to see that run that they had, and it was still good that they can finish the season off as champions that they said they was going to do in the beginning of the year. And it just feels good, having those guys. AD get his first championship, Brian at fourth one, MVP, another MVP in his belt, Finals MVP, excuse me to be exact. And it just a great feeling as a fan of the game to witness that his greatness, excellence, and also witness the merge of Anthony Davis as already a superstar in the league, but as a playoff superstar as well. What he had did for the Lakers with his expectations to helping LeBron win that championship. So I applaud it. I like the bubble. I hope they do it again. Hopefully this COVID situation, hopefully they find a cure before then. If not, if they got to do the bubble again, they'll do it. I respect it. I'm all for the bubble. Shout out to all the teams that was in the bubble that participated. Like I said, it was a great run. Lakers, like I said, the Lakers did the ultimate goal of winning and competing, especially what's going on right now in the pandemic. And then you had a lot of police brutality going on. So shout out to the NBA for their stand on racial profiling, on race issues that's going on in America. I enjoyed it. I applaud it. I like some of the uniforms had names on the back of it, different words, different meanings. For example, they had Black Lives Matter, equality, how many more, etc. So I applaud all of that. What the Adam Silver was doing with the bubble and how players responded to all the situations that was going on, politically, with the system, corrupt system, all of that. So again, congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, congratulations to the Lakers. It was a bit of a weird season, when this pandemic started breaking out. The NBA was the first to close its doors. It
Yes.
was the first to have a player tested positive for COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And fans were devastated, honestly. and the world was going crazy without sports. But the NBA did a perfect job with this bubble. Will we see it again with all 32 teams by December 22nd? That's hard to say. That's hard to say.
Yeah.
Maybe they gonna play in stadiums without the crowd. So there's that. But congratulations to the Lakers. LeBron averaged 29 points, 11 rebounds, and 8 assists in the playoffs.
That's what
In
he
the
do.
finals,
That's what he do. That's
Anthony
what LeBron
Davis
James
averaged
do.
25 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists.
Yes.
So, them guys is putting up fantastic numbers with their chemistry. This is AD's first championship. He's very excited. LeBron's very excited. They did it for the late, great Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace to him.
Rest in peace to Kobe.
And, they brought a championship to Tinseltown. Also, the Dodgers did as well.
Yes.
So, LA is doing a perfect job in sports during this pandemic. And it's been a brilliant upbringing. I was a big skeptic when they hired Frank Vogel because Frank Vogel was the former coach of the Indiana Pacers. But he had assistant coaches as well, like Jason Kidd. And, you got other guys on that team that helped out as well, like Contavious Caldwell-Pope. He came through. Danny Green, of course, he has championship experience, even though he was a bit risky shooting in the finals, but pulled through.
We ain't gonna talk about that.
And you talk about Dwight Howard. Man, Dwight Howard bounced back. He was an all-star in Orlando, went to Lakers, and the first time it didn't go off right. Then went to the Rockets, then Atlanta, then Charlotte, now
Washington.
And Washington too. Forgot about Washington.
Yeah, that's how he's been a journeyman,
But the man was excited. He cried. He been on a tough journey, and he redeemed himself in the City of Angels. That's all it's about.
Yes, it is. That's all.
Going for that trophy at the end of the day. That's all it's about.
Yes.
So shout out to the Lakers. Congratulations. And next season, it's gonna get tough for them to repeat.
Oh, yes.
Everybody was looking forward to the Clippers and Lakers Western Conference Finals. And only one team can beat the head honcho in LA, and the Lakers are the head honcho.
Your boys took care of them Clippers.
Most definitely did.
We ain't gonna talk about that right now. You know what I'm saying? I want to bring up that team.
We not gonna the hall,
but shout out to Denver Nuggets as well. They, that's another conversation for another day. But like you were saying, but like I said, the City of Angels, LA, California, man, they've gone up, man. Like if the pandemic were going on, it'll be a big old parade. It's still been going on right now because you got the Lakers parade. Then on top of that, the Dodgers won. Then on top of that, you might have a joint parade. Just because they both won, and then it's a tough time right now too. So just imagine though, if we want to go on through this, and both cities won. You got the Lakers winning in the summertime. You got the Dodgers winning in the fall time, which is right now. So that parade would have been, the city of LA would have been torn up and down. And then all of a sudden today, congratulations to Joe Biden, new president. California, they going nuts over there.
Big ups.
Big ups to Joe, our new president of the United States of America.
And the first black lady, vice president.
First female vice president and black vice president as well. So hopefully, see some changes going on with them. But
shout out to Kamala Harris.
Oh yeah, she will do her thing. We're gonna do her thing. So let's jump gears until one of these other topics that me and you've been debating about for a while. This MVP of NFL, man. It's a lot of guys, man. That's really showing us who really the MVP through all. What week was this? Week 9 coming up.
Week 9
coming up.
Trade deadline has passed, and not that many options.
Not that many moves. It wasn't that many good moves.
Can't say because it was pretty some team that need defensive moves. Yeah. But as you look at it, it's a pandemic, and you really can't afford to move around much people.
Exactly.
So some teams thought they needed some players, some teams think they didn't. A lot of players are not playing this year, so
and that's also is too. A lot of players on key teams that's not playing. You got a bunch of guys from the Patriots that's not playing. That's supposed to be on the O line and D line that's not playing. Key guys, especially on big teams like the Patriots. But also shout out to Dez Bryant and Antonio Brown for getting back in the NFL. That's another topic we'll talk about as well sometime in the future about them two getting back in the league. But this MVP race, man, who you got? Who you got? I got to hear who you got as your MVP so far.
I got two. Only got two.
You got two.
Only got two. I got Mr. Northwest. Mr. Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Top runner right now. He's hot. Lost his game against the Arizona Cardinals. It was a tough one. Watched that game, heartbreak, overtime loss.
Yes.
But they made some moves to get some defensive guys, and I think they're going to be okay after beating the heck out of San Francisco.
Yes.
And Mr. Super Bowl MVP, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. Those are my two leading candidates. Russell Wilson has 255 yards in attempts. He's 11th in the NFL in that. He has 2,148 passing yards, 6th in the NFL. He is the number one in passing touchdowns with only 26 TDs.
Yes.
And he's tied for 9th with 6 interceptions.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, 284 yard passing attempts, tied for 5th.
Yes.
He has 2,315 yards, 2nd in the NFL. He has 21 passing TDs. He's 2nd behind Russell.
Oh.
And he only has 1 interception, and he's tied for 38.
Well, you got a good case. You got two great guys. I got a top 3.
But if I had to say who will win, my money's on Russell. Russell comes a long way. He won a Super Bowl with the Legion of Boom, beat the dog mess out of the Broncos with Peyton Manning.
Yes.
I remember that cold Super Bowl.
Cold.
That was the coldest Super Bowl.
Cold.
And that was a good Super Bowl. I wanted Russell to win the ring. And he has come a long way. He's never been voted for NFL MVP. Now he's getting the recognition he deserves. So I would have to go with Russell. But as you were saying,
I mean, I can agree with you on that one. But my top 3, obviously, I'm gonna go Tom Brady, because Tom Brady, my man's. It's not no order. I'm just saying Brady, my man's. Russell, I'm definitely go Russell. And there's a toss up between Patrick Mahomes and Drew Brees. Maybe I could throw in what's his name from Arizona, the quarterback.
You want to throw Kyler?
I could throw Kyler in there, what he's doing in Arizona. Because like the fact that they making a big turnaround this season. They obviously, like you said, they beat Kyler and them, and D-Hop beat the Seahawks. That's a big win on your schedule. Beating a tough team like that with an awesome quarterback and receiver core, Tyler Lockett, DK, and Russ, that offense, and that's a tough win to win overtime against that caliber offense and defense. They still Legion of Boom, no matter what they call them, no matter how bad they are. They still can give you that firepower. I got Patrick Mahomes. Obviously Super Bowl MVP, former MVP of the league. He's gonna do his thing. 1 interception through week 9. That's amazing. That's tremendous for a quarterback. 1 interception, over 27 downs. It's amazing. Like it's like his throwing accuracy is amazing. Like he can throw the ball so far, and like he'll still be accurate with it. Like,
man threw a no-look pass. Who do you know throws a no-look pass?
Like Patrick Mahomes is bringing more finesse into the game. Like Michael Vick and those guys back then brought finesse into the game with the running. That's why you see Lamar Jackson. You see the running from Lamar Jackson almost identical to Vick a little bit. To me, that's how I see it. But at the same time, like Patrick Mahomes, for the quarterback throwing, you see the finesse, the underhand throws, the no-look throws, as you just said. I've seen videos of him practicing the behind-the-back throw on some NFL street thing, playing a video game type throws. So it's like Patrick Mahomes, like he's going to always be in that conversation for MVP. And then when it comes to Russell Russell Wilson, to me, he's one of the most underrated, underappreciated quarterbacks in the league. Like you said, he has a Super Bowl ring. He beat a Hall of Famer quarterback and Peyton Manning. Some people could say, "Oh, Peyton Manning was on his way out the door. He's about to leave." He still beat him. You still want to play in the game, you're going to get beat. Same what they say about Michael Jordan when Michael Jordan won his 6 rings. Magic Johnson and them was out the door. Larry Bird was getting older. All these guys were getting older. All the players he was playing was getting older. He wasn't playing no tough competition. So Russell Wilson won his. It's still a Super Bowl on his record, MVP on his record that he won. So it don't make me no difference. So like I said, Russell Wilson is one of my most underrated quarterbacks in the league. I love playing with him on Madden. I love watching his game, his finesse. Shout out to Wisconsin. That's where he came from.
NC State too. NC
You
State
know,
before Wisconsin.
that's right. NC State too. But shout out to the colleges that we just named. But at the same time, when you get a caliber quarterback like that, and Russell Wilson, who could do both, throw and run when he wants to, but got that arm that can give you 4 or 5 touchdowns a game.
And a great leader in the locker room.
That too, and on the off the court, off the field as well. Great leader off the field as well.
Great family man.
Exactly. Especially when he do his donations, him and his wife, Sierra, they donations with their foundations.
Does a lot of things for kids in the children's hospital.
Yes. He loved the kids, man. That's one guy I can say that love kids a lot.
He's a God-fearing man. That's a God-fearing man right there, too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And so, but on that field, it's like he's a different person. Like
different.
He'll get angry, but he'll hype his guys up, almost like Tom Brady. See, some people look at Tom Brady. He is another candidate that I picked to be the MVP, hopefully this season. Just because the fact that he's 43, he's up there in age. You got a quarterback that's not supposed to be still playing right now, but still playing in this young man's league, as they call it, a younger man's league, and he's still doing good with the Buccaneers. They're doing excellent. Yeah, he got a bunch of picks under his belt, pick sixes under his belt, but at the same time, he's still doing good with the Buccaneers. They're one of the favorites now to win the Super Bowl because they picked up Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown get to play this Sunday against the Saints Sunday night, baby. That's what, Sam, we're going to talk about that a little later too. Sunday night football, Brady and Breeze, who's going to be number one in touchdown pass. That's why I got Drew Brees also in one of my toss-up with between 4 and 5 and just MVP race, because you still got Drew Brees out here doing his thing with, with Michael Thomas and Kameli all of them in the backfield, still doing his thing at 40. So these guys, these quarterbacks that are veterans, Russell Wilson, the guys I named Russell Wilson, Tom Brady, and Drew Brees, they're still doing these things in their prime. They're not showing you no glimpse of the downfall. In my eyes, Brady got 6 championships. He just won one 2 years ago. He won the 6th one against the Rams 2 years ago. So just think about that. Like 20 plus years, one team, you got 6 championships, and you're still competing, trying to get that 7th one. So it's like you have a Hall of Fame, you automatically go in the Hall of Fame because you broke rookie records, all that. So, but my MVP as of right now, I'm going to agree with you, Russell Wilson. But Patrick Mahomes is really on him, on his heels, like really like on his heels, like by an inch. Like Russell Wilson has to have a bad Sunday, 2 bad Sundays, maybe 3 for Patrick Mahomes to jump over him. But it's just so much that Russell Wilson can do. But Patrick Mahomes can do the same thing as well. He's younger. He's almost like a Russell Wilson. Just younger, more faster. He can run the ball too with his feet. That's why I like Patrick Mahomes. But his throwing ability, like I've seen videos of him throwing the ball from one end zone to the other, or throwing it from the 10-yard line to the 20-yard line. Like his throwing ability is crazy. Then he got like his receiver core, Cheetah, Hunt, all those guys. Travis Kelce, big fella, Gronk 2.0. That's why I call Kelce Gronk 2.0. I mean, that's a big fella right there. And, can't nobody stop Cheetah. Obviously, he's one of the fastest receivers. You put him in the slot, he gone like a cheetah. Like that's his nickname. He put him in the slot, you got an open field. That's 6 points. You're not catching him unless you're already standing right there. But, that's like I said, that's my MVP. I believe that it's week 9. Season's almost over, almost playoff time. Right now, Russell Wilson look like the front runner. He got some competition, though. The guys I named, he got some competition behind him.
I think when it comes down to in this MVP race, you got to have the number of wins. You know, Seahawks lost one game, Chiefs won one game, so you know it's close knit, and the rank in your division, and
Yes.
they're both number one. So it can come down to the wire, you know. But I ultimately think they're going to pick Russell, knowing that Patrick won last year. I think Russell has shown more improvement than Patrick.
Well, Lamar won last year. Russell
Oh
won.
dang! That's my fault. That's my
Yeah,
fault.
Lamar won
Lamar
last
won,
season.
but I'm
Two
thinking
years
I'm
ago.
thinking Super Bowl MVP. I'm thinking of
Yeah, yeah,
Super
yeah.
Bowl.
I
I'm
understand.
thinking of Super
It's all
Bowl.
right. It's
But
all
anyway,
right.
Lamar won MVP. Yeah, he did. And yeah, this will be like a good, you know, competition. They're both in different
Yes.
divisions, and they're both got godly football talent. So we'll keep look on that race as it continues.
Oh yes. So what's up, man? Yeah, I'm all with you. So what's the next topic we gonna jump into? You know, it's like I said, it's our first podcast, man. First official episode. What you gotta get a fan who they want to see, man.
Also, we gotta go. We have to move into the third topic of your choice, which you said you want to talk about the Dodgers winning the World Series.
Yes, and that's cold controversial game. What game six? Yes. I'm a conspiracist. Like I have these crazy concepts of conspiracy when it comes to sports and all of that and why certain things happen. But again, I'm not taking nothing from the Dodgers. I like that game, especially I'm picking up Mookie and other key players. Mookie was a big pickup for them from Boston. Took Mookie
Big.
from the Red Sox, and he was already a champion anyway. You know, Mookie, I think he already had a Super Bowl or two with the Red Sox, and now you bring him over to the Dodgers. LA cross town to West Coast
World
from the East
Series.
Coast. You know what I'm saying? From the
God
East Coast
yourself.
to I know.
God
Now
yourself.
yeah. You bring Mookie to the from the East Coast to the West Coast. And now he's a World Series champion.
Yes.
You know,
Very.
and that's a great pickup. But that the thing that gets me in that series was the Tampa Bay Rays manager pulling their pitcher in the sixth inning, going to the top of the seventh. And it's like he already seen the lineup twice. Was He had 9 Ks throughout that whole game. Pretty much one lineup, 9 Ks. And he already said he's gonna make adjustments, but to pull him series on the line enough to force a game 7, to me that's kind of controversial. Like, why did you pull your hottest player on the field, on defensive wise? Like your pitcher, he's like the quarterback. He's y'all following his league, and he's following the catcher. So whatever the catcher tell him, he's gonna pitch it, and you just following his lead. So the pitcher already high. So the guys behind him, like, hey, he's striking guys out. He's making our job more easier than it has to be. You know, we just gotta stay alert just in case they hit the ball back here. But from the whole game, he was pretty much having control of the Dodgers. Strikeout left and right, no hits. You know, he gave up a couple. He gave up that hit that made the manager pull him. But at the same time, once he got pulled, all of a sudden the Dodgers back start ringing. Home run, hits. You know, all of a sudden, now all of a sudden the Dodgers found life. A new pitcher came in. He not loose enough. So guys like, yeah, he finna give us my pitch that I like to see. And so once the new pitcher came in, all of a sudden the Dodgers players started to go. They found their bats again, and they won that series. Like I said, shout out to the Dodgers for winning that series. But to me, I think it's a bit more controversial. Like, why did you pull him? Like, it's an explanation that we need to understand as fans of the game. You know, some players, some teams like, oh, that's their fault. They did that. It's a reason for why he pulled him. You know, because pitchers give up hits all the time. I mean, yeah, he gave up a hit, but he was already he cool. He hot. He's still okay. It's not like he gave up 30 pitches just that whole inning. He gave up a couple pitches, a couple hits, and then you pull him. The game on the line. He hot. Let him keep going. You know, that's me as a manager. I would let him keep going until the score starts to change. Okay, now we tie game. Okay, now we down 2. Okay, now it's time to pull. Because now they got a lead and now they have a bigger advantage over us. And in baseball, it's hard to score. It's very hard to score, especially you got to time that hit right. You got time to throw right. You got to time. Everything is timing in baseball. So me personally, I don't know what to do with it. I can't keep my finger around it, but it's just still a bit controversial why they pulled them. But again, shout out to the Dodgers on winning the World Series.
Yeah. Um, the Dodgers. Let's talk about them.
Yes.
Um, Pretty much, the Dodgers coming off a 100-win season. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Last year, and they lost to the Washington Nationals. Got kicked out. But anyway, coming off a 100-win season, they had to do some improvements to their roster. Getting
Yes.
Mookie Betts was a great option.
Mm-hmm.
And, they were ranked number one to win the World Series this year.
Oh
And it
yes.
paid off in the big run. They
Mm-hmm.
went 4-2 against the Rays in the World Series,
Mm-hmm.
And to say at least, I wasn't surprised. I thought Atlanta gave them a good game, but we all know how Atlanta teams are. I ain't gonna even speak on Atlanta teams. I
We're
was
not gonna speak on
not
Atlanta
gonna speak on them at
because they
all.
just helped Joe win the Georgia.
None of that. I don't want to hear none of that. That doesn't change nothing. But anyway, coming off, I think them winning was good. A
Yes.
good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was talking about them winning, but they was talking also about Justin Turner and how he got tested positive and he
Yes.
getting kicked out as well during towards the end of the seventh inning and coming back and celebrating on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And they telling me he will not be punished. So fans are like, do we even care about the MLB? I mean, look, I agree with you. The Rays manager, Ray Cash, never pulled his pitcher out. He was
Yes.
hot. He only
Hot.
allowed one hit. He could have striked out others, you know. But stuff happens. It's the World Series. You're gonna have your moment or you're not. And that was Ray Cash moment. You pulled out your
Not that
pitcher,
one. Not that one.
and that wasn't a good moment. A lot of Rays fans are pissed at that. But the question is, my question to you is, do you think the Dodgers can repeat? Because the
Um.
competition is going to be fierce next year. And when we start rolling with baseball, we start rolling. I think the team that will be improving,
Mm-hmm.
that I will say that could knock them down, and I really don't want to say them because I just said them, but I think the Braves,
Mm-hmm.
they did an amazing job in the offseason as well. Did an
Yes.
amazing job in this bubble.
Yes.
And I think the Braves can compete with them
Yes.
if they get their act together and
They
not
will.
blow a lead. But I think
But
they can repeat. I'm gonna say I think they can, but it's
yes.
gonna be we gotta see how the pandemic plays out.
Uh-huh.
We gotta see how many games are gonna be official for next year. But it's a lot of time between here and now. And then you got winter meetings, free agency. We don't know who's gonna go where. So the odds are endless. So
Mm-hmm.
shout out to the Dodgers for winning. Shout out to Magic Johnson, the first NBA and MLB owner to have both rings to play in both sports. Well, he didn't play in baseball, but his team, the
Yeah.
Dodgers, won. He owns a stake in that. So shout out to him as well, and shout out to Tinseltown for doing a great job in sports during this pandemic.
Yes.
Hopefully next year
Mm-hmm.
they might do it again. But for now, good vibes in LA all around. Love and peace.
Yes. 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 To answer your question, do I see them repeating? I mean, their chance of repeating is high. Obviously, any team that wins a championship, no matter what sport you play, NBA, NFL, baseball, soccer, whatever, your chances of repeating is always going to be high. It depends on the moves that you guys make as a team. Um, as a team, like I said, the moves that the guys make. But for the Dodgers, they're fine. I believe they can repeat, but at the same time, you still got teams that can get better. Like you said, the Braves, just because they do their thing. Atlanta still always been good. Always had a decent team. Washington, Phillies. You got to get those guys some credit. The Cubs, they can come and snatch the Dodgers again, like they did a few years ago. Um, the White Sox, maybe. You'll see the White Sox was back in the playoffs for after a while. So you still got these underdog teams. You might see the Rays back in there again. They can shock the world again to make it to the World Series. Did nobody expect the Rays to get there? So for me, same thing with the NBA. Same thing concept goes for the NBA. You never know who's going to be there. Because every team has the same goal. We want to compete, make the playoffs, and compete for a championship. No matter what sport level you are, no matter what level, what profession you're in, NBA, NFL, NCAA, etc. Your goal as a head coach, manager, or as the team owner, our goal is to get a banner for this organization.
Hold on, Forbes. I gotta pause it.
Well, yes, like but and all in all though, but like I said, the Dodgers, they are the heavy favorite to win. So, like I said, I'm not a Dodgers fan. I'm White Sox. I'm bleed Chicago till I die. But statistically, the Dodgers are favored to win again. I mean, look at the team. If that team stays healthy, come back together, if they add more pieces to it, I got them repeat.
Yep. So we both agree.
Yeah.
So now we're going into my 3 topics for this first episode of our podcast.
Yeah.
The first, we're going back to the NBA. Now, the NBA has coaching changes from season to season.
Mm-hmm.
And this NBA season, we had more coaching changes than ever due to the pandemic and due to teams not fulfilling their prophecies, as these fans would like to see their teams go to the playoffs once in a while, or move past the first, second, third round, or they hate their teams busting for a draft pick. So without further ado, I'm going through my list, and we're going to talk about what teams gained the most from these coaching changes. You ready, Marcellus?
Already.
All right. The first coaching change we had this season was Steve Nash. Yes, the veteran Steve Nash.
Yes, sir.
Was he a Hall of Famer?
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer. Yes, Mr. Threes with no knees.
Yeah.
That's what I like to call him.
No knees.
He has
Two-time
now
MVP.
fulfilled the job, taking over Kenny Atkinson, who was the former Nets coach, and will now be in charge of KD and Kyrie going forward with the young Karis LeVert. I would love to see that. Next we have, and we're Chicagoans. We didn't like Jim Boylan, and we didn't like the front office. But we got a new front office, people, as you may or may not know. We have rising stars like Zach LaVine, Wendell Carter Jr., Larry Markkinen. And the person who will lead us back to the playoffs, I think, in this coaching change is no other than Billy Donovan, who just led the OKC Thunder to the playoffs, which no one predicted they would go to the playoffs with a veteran Chris Paul. So that happened. Then we have our old coach, Tom Thibodeau, going to the worst team in the Atlantic Division, the New York Knickerbockers, with the worst owner in history. I'm saying that he is the worst owner. And we're going to move back to the Midwest region. We have Indiana. Indiana let go of Nate McMillan. Sad to see him go. He put Sabonis as an all-star this year. Yes. Great power forward in him. You have Victor Oladipo. You have a young core. And, they're ready to go to the playoffs again, even though they lost to Miami in the first round. So they have Nate Borgikin. Mm-hmm. He was Nick Nurse's assistant in Toronto. Yes. So he has fulfilled Nick McMillan's position. And other than that, I think I'm missing something. Oh, yes, the Rockets. As you all know, their head coach was Mike D'Antoni. Yes. And he is now in Brooklyn as well, along with his former players, Steve Nash and Amari Stoudemire, as an assistant. Yes. Yes. And the person taking over his job is Steven Silas, Paul Silas's son. He was an assistant under Rick Carlisle in Dallas. Yes. So he is going to try to lead the Rockets to the promised land.
Yes.
The coach in New Orleans, Mr. Alvin Gentry, has gone. So he is gone. So they replaced him with longtime Orlando Magic coach and former Detroit Pistons coach and former NBA analyst Stan Van Gundy. And they want him to develop Zion Williamson in that young core with Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball, not LaMelo.
Yes,
Lonzo.
Yes.
And we have old man Rivers, who just got fired from, the Clippers, who disappointingly didn't go to the Western Conference
Yeah,
Finals.
disappointing
And
season.
he is now headed to Philadelphia to fill in for
East
their former
Coast,
coach, Brett Brown, who, you know, got a
terrible.
stimulus
Swept.
team and got swept by Boston. And so with newfound positions, it's going to work out. And last but not least, we have Ty Lue back in the
Coach
coaching
Lou.
position
Coach Lou.
for the team that Doc got fired from. He's moving from
Yeah.
assistant to head coach. And we're going to see if he, like he did with the Cavaliers, but that's 50-50,
Mm-hmm.
lead them to a ring. So those are all the coaching changes.
Yes.
Now, out of these coaching changes, Marcellus,
Mm-hmm.
to me, I think the Philadelphia move is great with Doc Rivers. I think he could do a lot with that core team. I hear some trade doing around. Might trade Ben Simmons, might not, but
Mm-hmm.
we'll see. When the draft comes, I think the other coaching job, Steve Nash, I think he will do a good job bringing in his former teammate Amari Stoudemire and his former coach. As he learns along the way to become a great coach for that Brooklyn Nets team. I think they have a
Yes.
good core team in Kyrie Irving,
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Durant, who's coming back from his injury. They have, centers and a young talent in Karis LeVert. Do I think they need another piece? Maybe, maybe not. You know, we'll see what the future has for them. Billy Donovan is also a great pick for Chicago because he does a great job with young superstars who have not developed yet. See, he
Yes.
done a good job with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, did a great job with Dennis Schroeder, and he did a great job with the Grant brother, the other Grant
Mm-hmm.
brother. And he went to Denver, and he's
Mm-hmm.
doing a good job there. So I think that them three coaches
Mm-hmm.
can do a good job. I'm not sure about Steven Silas. This is his first coaching job. I'm sure he can
Yes.
do a good job. And Stan Van Gundy, the Pelicans, they're in the West. So it's going to be hard. I think he can do a lot with Zion and produce that young team as well.
Mm-hmm.
Ty Lue, on the other hand, I'm
Coach
interested to
Lou.
see how that's going to go. I'm not giving him the thumbs up yet, but we'll see. Tom Thibodeau, he's with the Knicks, so whatever. The coach from Indiana, we'll see with him too. Not sure about him. He's an assistant. But I think those are my three coaches that I think will lead their teams to a good season this year. There's still a vacancy, and I think Oklahoma, so that has yet to be determined. But yeah,
Yes.
other than that, that was my coaches.
Well, you have some very good picks. Red. For me, I would love to see the two-time MVP with his former teammate and head coach Steve Nash. See how he can bring together KD and Kyrie Irving together. Those are two-headed monsters themselves. Because like, can they coexist with each other? We never seen Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant play together. We seen Kyrie play for Brooklyn. We never seen Kevin Durant and Kyrie gel on the court together. Are we gonna get a Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant type of atmosphere of them playing together? Because Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant went to the finals together. Is Kyrie is Kyrie gonna go to the finals with Kevin Durant? Is Kevin Durant gonna let Kyrie do his thing to get to the finals? Adding Kevin Durant to the East Coast made the East Coast a little tougher. I mean, East Coast, in my opinion, is still is still the weaker division, in my opinion, because it's not that many teams that you can pick from that can come out the East. You got Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, Toronto, and Brooklyn. I could say Miami now. Because they went to the finals. So it's six
You could say
teams.
Orlando too. They went to the playoffs, but that's neither here or there. You
But
got
I'm talking about
got
real
some.
contenders, literally contenders. Obviously, Miami is a legit contender. They just took the Lakers to 6 games. That team Jimmy Butler had with them young guys and a few veterans took that Laker team with Bron AD to 6 games in the final. So Miami, they're a sleeper team too. But with the coaches, I want to see how Steve Nash do in his first year. See how those guys is because a healthy Brooklyn, you still got Spencer Dinwiddie over there who's a walking bucket. You know,
I think he's a
look,
free agent too. I
I
think
believe
he's a
he's a
free
free
agent.
agent, but I believe he's gonna resign if he's a free agent. He's gonna resign because that's a key piece in that starting lineup. Or if he comes off the bench, that's a key piece off the bench. That's a 20 point. That's 20 plus points right there off the bench just from him alone. And like I said, he can put the ball in the basket just like Curtis LeVert. I seen that in college with LeVert at Michigan.
Also
But
got Joe Harris,
you still got the shooter in Joe Harris knocking it down. So you got the big man in the middle, Allen, big, tall,
and
stretching
you
and
got
all over, bro.
DeAndre, and you
And
got
you got
DeAndre.
DeAndre. So with that lineup, with that team, you can switch it up any amount of ways. You can go small, you can go big, but you don't want them to go small with KD at the 5. You don't want that to happen. That's a nice small lineup, but that's also a scoring lineup. You got KD, Kyrie, LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Joe. That's a nice start. That's a nice 5 small ball lineup. It looked big because Kevin Durant's gonna be obviously the tallest player on the court, but at the same time, they can stretch the floor out with that lineup I just named because Kevin Durant can play all 5 positions. Obviously, he's a 7-foot point guard. If you want to look at it, he can dribble, take you off the dribble, put you on the block, shoot the 3 ball, shoot the elbow jumper, post you up. He can do it all. Kyrie Irving, we all know his rap sheet, Uncle Drew. We already know Uncle Drew could do with that ball. If he started playing with it on the yo-yo, on some street ball stuff, he can give you 30. KD can give you 30. I look forward to seeing and watching Brooklyn look closely this year just because of those 2 players. I mean, Brooklyn was a household name. They was almost in the playoffs themselves. But again, no, they was in the playoffs. I'm sorry. They was in the playoffs. They was in the playoffs against Toronto. They just missed those pieces. If they had those pieces like Kevin Durant and Kyrie playing, it could have been a whole different ball game. Um, but that's I want to see Steve Nash do well. Other coaches, we already know how Doc gonna do. Doc, he bound Philly gonna go to the playoffs regardless. No matter if you trade Ben Simmons for James Harden, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing. The rumors that they're looking for that. I mean, it's been denied by Houston head coach that they're trying to keep Russ and Harden together anyway. But the rumor was trying to trade for Harden to go to Philly to play with or Embiid. Ben Simmons out of the picture. That's what it's to look like. It's going to be them. Or they can keep Ben Simmons and trade away a bunch of assetable players for James Harden, 6, 7 players and some draft picks for James Harden. Um, that's how if that's what they want to do. But I want to see how Doc is. He back in the East. This is where he jailed. That is where he won the championship with obviously with Boston. This where he was. This when Doc was Doc over here in the East Coast. He won championships, conference championships. So let's see if Doc can flip the script. He's back in the same conference he won with Boston. He in Philly. So we're gonna see. We're gonna see about that as well. I want to see Billy do well. Billy in the East Coast now. He obviously in the Midwest with us in the Shy. Got that young team, Zach, Kobe White,
Very young.
marketing. Got that young team, young boys. He can deal with that. Like you said, he helped Alexander out. He helped Dennis Schroeder out. Obviously, he had the veteran in CP3 over there. So it was a win-win for him. Plus, he liked point guards anyway because for his college experience he had with Joe Keem and those guys that he won with. So it's like I would love to see how Billy do with Zach LaVine. That's obviously his key player, Zach. See how he do
I
with
don't
that.
think Billy missed the playoffs when he was there. I really don't know. He hasn't. No, he hasn't.
No,
So
oh,
he doesn't because he had that KD team that lost to the
yes,
Warriors. He had
yes,
Russell Westbrook when he was MVP,
yes,
consistently going to the playoffs. So something was brewing with Billy Donovan, and I think the new front office of the Bulls organization did a great pick. I
yes,
think Billy Donovan can lead this young team back to, playoff standards. And that's what we want for the city of Chicago.
yes. I mean, it'll look good for the city to be back in the playoffs. It will look good for us. Especially like playoff time. That's when jersey sales go up. That's when more fans come to the games. Hopefully, like you stated earlier in the show, I believe they're going to allow probably 10% capacity, Well, it's a stadium, so maybe 15%, 20% capacity of people in a stadium, an arena, excuse me, to play, so they can have some fans in the game. Just like football, allowing some fans in now, because doing a bubble for 32 teams is difficult. You might as well shut off a whole city, like just for them the 32 teams to play. And like I said, it's a short season, 72 games. There's going to be a bunch of back to backs. We might not even have an All Star game this year just because it's a short season. You want to get it over with because of the pandemic. We don't know what's going to happen with this pandemic, if it's going to end or not. So, but with these coaches, I want to see all of them succeed and be successful. Not all of them will be, but they be successful in their own way. Steve Nash, who knows? Steve Nash might win Coach of the Year his first year there because you already got a coach that you're used to with the run and gun offense, and Mike D'Antoni, offensive coach. Then you got Stoudemire, so he's going to be good with the big
5 seconds
man.
or less.
5 seconds or less offense. So who's to say they might have that same Steve Nash might have that same concept, 5 seconds or less. Get the ball out there and get the ball in the air, 5 seconds or less. Push the ball in transition. Then you got, like I said, you got Stoudemire who can work with the bigs. They can help Kyrie do the pick and roll. Steve Nash and Stoudemire, we also know they known for the pick and roll. So Steve Nash, so Kyrie Irving, Allen, DeAndre Jordan, mainly DeAndre Jordan in my opinion, but Allen could do it as well, the pick and roll. DeAndre Jordan could jump out. Obviously, we know that for a fact. I mean, he might be getting older, but he's jumping out the gym. So that's a no-brainer for us with that one. So Allen, he stretch. All you gotta do is put his hands up. He blocking shots. Throw him a oop, he gonna catch it. And if you want to pick and roll with Kevin Durant and Kyrie, that's gonna be dangerous too. KD can go roll or KD can pop. So, and if them boys are hot, they unstoppable. So I would love to see all these coaches succeed, but I'm mainly gonna focus on Steve Nash and all the coaches that don't have no experience of coaching in the NBA. So I just gonna look forward to the season coming up.
All right. Well, we're still gonna be on the NBA, so let's get into the separate topic of my decision.
The draft. That's the
draft.
I love the draft. This is my favorite time of the season, or the off season. The draft. You see these college players, overseas players get that they name called. 60 best players, the 60 top players of the world get their name called. Out of millions of players that enter the draft, only 60 get opportunity to get their name called and hopefully play in the NBA out of that 60. But it's still a great feeling to be able to hear your name called by the commissioner or somebody under the commissioner, because sometimes it might not be the commissioner after a while. But in the beginning, you will hear your name called by the commissioner. You
Oh, in the second round.
You know what
I'm
saying?
I mean the second round.
Yeah, no. I mean, obviously, in the first round, the commissioner said the first 30. Hopefully, the first 30 is there. Some might not be there. Some don't. The crazy part is some don't even get invited. They sit in a crowd with the fans. You know, I done seen some drafts where a player get his name called. He's sitting with the fans. You know, his family ain't got no table, no special table made just for them and his age and all that. They in the crowd with the fans. So it's like, really? So it's like, I forgot what player was that. Was it Grayson Allen? I forgot. It was a player that sat in the crowd and he heard his name called. He had to come out of the crowd just to come get his hat. Like he was there. So I look forward to it. But yes, this draft, baby. This
draft is
draft.
November 18th, and it's here. Unfortunately, it's here. But people can't attend, due to the pandemic. I would have loved to attend the NBA draft because, man, I would have got to see some good trades. But I'm gonna be watching from home regardless. It's Wednesday, November 18th. Probably gonna be on ESPN. Check that out. But let's get into the NBA draft. I have my predictions. You have your predictions. We're doing the top five. Top five. We're not doing top 10. It's too long for top 10. We're doing top five.
Yes.
Potential picks. Some may be trades. We don't know. But we're going to do the ones without trades because we're just going into it. Yeah. It's just simple like that, baby. It's like butter. Let's roll it. So the first pick goes to Minnesota. Yeah. And to my knowledge, with this pick, Minnesota is a young team. They have Carl Anthony Towers. They have, I said Towns.
Towers.
They have Mr. Deloaded,
D-Lo.
one of my favorite rising point guards in the NBA.
Yes.
Mr. All-Star in Brooklyn, went to Golden State. They traded him to Minnesota. I think that's a perfect fit. But, they're a young team. I only been to the playoffs once. Recently, that was with Jimmy Butler. You know how that went. Excuse me, fuck off. But I think this team needs a shooting guard. Out of all teams, this team needs a shooting guard. They have a point guard. There's no need for another one. Okay. So I think Minnesota should choose the young shooting guard from Georgia, Anthony Edwards. Very good shooting guard indeed. And I think he would be perfect for that team,
First pick, Anthony Edwards.
First pick, Anthony Edwards on the board. Ooh. That's if Golden State and Minnesota switch. But that's the first pick for Minnesota.
That's the rumor I'm hearing.
But that's what I think is going to happen. Minnesota's going to trade up with Golden State. And, because Golden State has the first pick, obviously. But I think Minnesota would trade for that first round pick to get Anthony Edwards. Now, if they don't trade, let's go back. That first pick, in my eyes, for Golden State, because Golden State needs a big man. They have the all-star Mr. 3-point wonder Stephen Curry, one half of the Splash Brothers.
One half.
They have the second half, Mr. Klay Thompson.
Coming off an ACL
injury, and he's going to be on the attack. Watch out for that boy, Klay. They have Mr. Wiggins at the 3-point position.
And Drew.
They have Mr.
First pick as well. He was first pick as well.
Yeah. They have Mr. Draymond Green. Mr. Angry, get in your face, don't care, will talk trash, Mr. Green at the 4. At the 5, they have Marquise Chris. Well, he's improving. But you can say that if with this pick they get, they're going to choose the young man from Memphis, who I was sad to see had a half of a season due to all the NCAA stuff, Mr. James Wiseman. This boy is talented, man. He comes from Memphis, training with the great Penny Hardaway. And I think he would be a great fit for that Golden State team. He is 7 feet tall, Marcel. 7 feet, big boy. He can shoot. He can rebound.
Yes.
He's very athletic, too. So that would be my pick for Golden State. Now we're going to move on to the third pick, which is the Charlotte Hornets, Mr. Michael Jordan team. This team is young. They have Devontae Graham. They have Terry Rozier. They have Malik Monk. They have a lot of young bloods on this team. But to me, everybody's talking about LaMelo's going to go here. LaMelo's going to go there. I think Michael Jordan will snatch up LaMelo Ball with the third pick.
Ooh.
I think that is a very bold decision.
Very bold.
LeVar ain't got nothing to do with it.
I hope not.
It's all about talent. So if they want to snatch him up, that would be a good pick. He can learn. LaMelo can learn under Michael Jordan's wing. Michael Jordan can teach him some things. LaMelo can improve on the court. I think that would be a good fit for the Hornets. Not saying I don't want LaMelo to go there. You know what? I don't want LaMelo to go. No, I want him to come here. I want him to come here. I want him to come to the shot. Come to the shot. But we can only hope on that. Yes. But now we're going to move into Chicago's favorite pick. We got the number 4 pick in the draft. I wish they had number 3. But I split this up into 2 possibilities.
2.
If we don't get LaMelo Ball, unfortunately we have to go for, power forward, or small forward, because we really need the bench to get flowing. So we have a player from overseas, Denny. He has great playmaking abilities. He averaged 9 points a season, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. But with this kid, he has great playmaking skills. He could play the 3 and the 4. And I think he'd be a good fit with the Bulls with Wendell, Lowry, and Zach LaVine. On the other half, you have Mr. Obi. Mr. Obi. Big dog Obi.
Yes.
And this brother can space out. He can give you versatility. This brother averaged 20 points a game, 7.5 rebounds, and 2.2 assists in his college season. Who would I like to see the Bulls get? I would like to see. I'm not shy on international talent because that could be a hit or miss. That could be a hit or
Yes.
miss. You feel me? I think Obi would be good for us. I think he would. He's a good power forward. He can shoot the three. Very shoot the three. He can shoot the two. Rebounds, good too.
Hmm.
I don't know much about Denny. I have to look him up some more. But my research stands for itself. For the fifth pick, we have the great city of Cleveland.
The land.
And the land. Yes, the land. And for this pick, if the Bulls get Denny,
Hmm.
I'm going to say Obi for the Cavs too, because they're going to need somebody if they don't re-sign Andre Drummond or keep him long term. I think Obi would be a good pick for the Cavs too. He could work with Kevin Love. That's if Kevin Love don't get traded out here. He's on the trade block as well.
Yes.
So those are my 5 picks, you know, and hopefully they'll play out. If they don't, then we know something's amiss in the draft. What are your
Yes.
5 picks, Marcellus?
Well, Mr. Red, Mr. Smith, Red Smith, whatever you want to be called today. Red Smith.
It's Red, you sir. Red.
Oh, oh well, Mr. Red. Me personally, for my top five, and this is no canonical order, I would love to see LaMelo go number one. Obviously, I would love to see him go number one, just like his brother. To do Golden State really need a point guard? No. Obviously, you got the two-time MVP, three-time champion Stephen Curry, Splash brother. Do Minnesota need a point guard? No.
Nope.
You already got D'Lo, but at the same time, anything can happen. Do the Bulls need a point guard? No. You got Kobe White, just drafted him. Charlotte, do Charlotte need a point guard? I would say yes, maybe no, because you don't
Half
really
and
know.
half. Half and
You don't
half.
know. You don't know if Graham is a shooting guard or a point guard because Graham did have a great season. Should have got a most improved player, but
I agree on that. I agree on that very much.
should have got a most improved player. But not taking nothing from Brandon Ingram, and Brandon Ingram deserved it. He went to New Orleans. They thought he was going to be there to get dried up. Came an All Star. So that I think that's what pushed Brandon Ingram to win most improved was that All Star appearance. But like I said, don't take nothing from Graham. Graham Hooper. I've been watching Graham since Kansas. Hooper. I respect this game and watching him since Kansas, one of my top schools. I got accepted to there to go to college there, but I've been following Graham since high school, so I know Graham can hoop. Um, but Charlotte, it's a toss up. You don't want to have too many guards on your team because then it's gonna be a battle. Like, okay, who gonna start? Who coming off the bench? Who minutes gonna get cut short? Because if you get drafted top five, you gonna play. There's no
Pretty
sitting on the
much.
bench or sitting down like how we sitting down doing this podcast. Ain't no sitting down. You're gonna get in this game. You got to see your potential. You got to let's see if you worth this contract. Let's see if you worth this pick. Are you gonna help us get to the playoffs for certain teams, or are you gonna help us win this championship? So for me, with the first pick, if Golden State do get it, I would say go after a big man in Winston from Memphis. Go after him just because the fact that you already have your point guard, Steph, your shooting guard, and Clay, small forward Andrew Wiggins, power forward and Green, Wiseman, a big man that can shoot. You know, you can take him young, athletic, so he could do it all on the court. At the short time he played with at Memphis, was a killer, monster, was going nice. So I would love to see him there. With the second pick is who? Will be Minnesota.
Yep.
Minnesota. We know what they need. Besides a bench, they're already good on the point guard. I would say probably go after Melo to push D'Lo to the shooting guard position because Melo, to me, yeah, he's young, but Melo and D'Lo, they got a decent IQ. But Melo, it's something about the Ball family with that IQ. Lonzo got a good IQ for a
Got a
point guard.
great
You know
father.
what I'm saying?
Got a
Great
great father
father.
in Navarre.
That IQ that they have. Yeah, they Ball didn't lead the league in assists, but his vision next season, I could believe he'd be in the top. He'd be in the top 5 in assists because obviously with Zion, a full season with Zion, and Brandon Ingram and all of them. And Drew Holiday. He'll lead the league in assists probably for a
Drew
long
might
period
not
of
be
time.
there long,
Yeah,
but
might
that's
not be
another
long,
topic
but
for another day.
that's right. That's right. But I could see Melo getting drafted to Minnesota just to push D'Lo to the shooting guard so it can get his numbers going, and then he can get Cat going. But we don't know what's going to transpire because obviously my boy D Book, want to get out of Phoenix, and Minnesota is on the radar. D Book, D'Lo, and Cat, they've been wanting to play with each other in the NBA for a long period of time. Obviously, on the cover of a magazine together. Now you might see them playing on the same team. That'll be dangerous in the West too. A young team like that with the right coaching staff, with the right
Right
bench,
leadership too.
right? You might see them make some noise in the playoffs. Hopefully, a new starter point for D Book. Playing with guys that he's familiar with playing with before NBA, because obviously he played with Cat, I believe, in Kentucky. Uh, Maybe not, but obviously he's very good friends with D'Lo and Cat. So I would love to see Minnesota draft Melo, steal him from the draft, just so like, okay, we got a point guard, but he might get traded for Devin Booker. You might see Melo in Phoenix. You never know. You might see Melo in Phoenix just because they want to get Devin Booker to Minnesota. So be on the lookout for that trade that might happen. With the third pick, Charlotte, they did everything. Coaching, players, new front office. Mike can't do it all. They need it all. So that's a toss-up. But I could see them getting a forward and Dan that you said, the guy from overseas. They could probably get the Obi Toppin from Dayton College. That's a nice school. Go get him. I can see him going over there just because Charlotte need everything to fill up a lot of gaps and holes in that organization for players, because you don't know who's the leader, because Kimba obviously is in Beantown.
Been there for years.
Obviously,
And they're first ballot Hall of Famer for the Charlotte Hornets.
Most definitely, almost definitely first ballot for the Hornets. So it's like now we have to find another Kimba 2.0, either better or almost identical, that can lead this team and get us over that hump back into the playoffs, like Kemba Walker did. And for that fourth and fifth pick, like I said, those are toss-ups. I would say Hayes. You might see Hayes in Cleveland just for the guard tip. They already guard dominant in Cleveland anyway. The Bulls, I don't see the Bulls getting another guard. Maybe. I don't know, but I can see the Bulls get another big though.
Yeah. Okay.
But the main ones that people are going to keep paying attention to is the guy from USC. My guy from USC, Wiseman, and Melo. Mainly Melo just because his dad.
USC?
USC. I'm a USC fan,
Who went to USC?
That boy DeMar DeRozan boy came from USC. Stop playing with my boys from USC.
Who?
Stop playing with Kevin Porter Jr., dog. That boy
came
from Cleveland.
Can't forget about him.
Right.
Last topic.
Day.
So, as you all know, we have talked about baseball, basketball, and football. But we're moving in to another different category. Now, some of you may call this fake, and to the people that do it, it's not fake. They're entertaining you, the fans. Yes, we're talking about wrestling. Yes, I said it. Wrestling. WWE, AEW, but we're not going to move into AEW yet because my broadcast partner here to the left of me, as you can see, he doesn't know much about AEW. And there's a lot of other wrestling out there, but we're going to discuss that variously through the podcast through me. I got to catch him on some stuff. He's interested in it. And
yes.
Very interested. But to our fans, I'm going to put you on game. I don't care. This is our podcast. But some of you may like it, some of you may not. But we're going to make it entertaining for you. So it is the month of November. As we all know, this is the biggest time for WWE. Due to
Yes,
the
sir.
pandemic, we can't have any. Due to the pandemic, the fans can't be there, but the fans will be back hopefully by next year for the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
But the thing is, we have the traditional Survivor Series match.
I love it. I
30,
love it.
I think it's 30 years. 30 years of Undertaker, by the way.
Yes.
And
Very good
you
documentary.
know,
Well done. Well done.
you know, this is his last foregoing for this Survivor Series. We're
Yes.
gonna send him a tribute. Other than that, this is how Survivor Series goes. Now, last year I had the beautiful chance to be with the WWE
You
crowd
did.
again
You
after a
did.
year
You did.
after Backlash. I
Yes.
went to Impact Wrestling's Bound for Glory, my little brother as well, but that was in October. November is the season of giving to the WWE fans.
Yes.
WWE has been up and down, but last year was beautiful. They added NXT, their
Oh yeah.
developmental brand, which
I
has
love
their own
NXT.
standing, and the fans were happy. And I'll tell you, Marcellus, I went to that Survivor Series, went to
Yes, you
War
talked
Games.
about that.
War
You talked
Games is
about that.
definitely lit. War Games was definitely lit.
Yes.
Survivor Series was lit. The main event was, but all in all, everybody had a good time. I had some drinks with some friends, you know, got it popping, and we always made people laugh and made people angry as well.
That's
But
good to hear.
on the hands of that NXT won last year, sadly NXT is not in this year due to the pandemic because
It happens.
it happens, and hopefully next year we can have NXT back in the mix because I want to see some dream matchups as much as other fans, man, as much as other fans. But this year we have Raw versus SmackDown. Now the draft was like in October. We had
Yes.
championship changes, you know, and basically Survivor Series they have traditional matches.
Yep.
Now the old Survivor Series used to have you would pick your team of married men and married women against each other. But this is
Yes.
brand supremacy war. As you
Yes,
can
it
tell, I
is.
am a big fan of SmackDown. I want SmackDown.
Yes, you
You
are.
haven't won in a while. I think we got a chance this year. The draft may have switched up on us, but I think SmackDown has a chance this year. So my predictions for Survivor Series, as you know, we have champions versus champions. So the first championship match we have Mr. Forbes.
Uh
We
huh.
have Sami Zayn, the Intercontinental Championship champion of SmackDown,
Uh huh.
versus the U.S. champion, Mr. Bobby Lashley of the Hurt Business.
Yes, sir.
Now, in my defense, I'm gonna have to give it to Raw because I don't think Sammy is gonna live a day against Mr. Bobby Lashley of the Hurt Business.
Yes,
Bobby
right.
Lashley is a force of nature, and I think we're gonna take our L on this one. Championship changes may happen, but we have
Possibility.
yet to see. It's still early. But on this one, I have to say Sami Zayn will lose.
Okay.
Your prediction on this? Because I know you're for the Raw. I know you're for the Raw brand.
Always. I've been for the Raw brand for the longest of me. Me and Raw go back way back. Me and Stone Cold. You know, Raw
Hey,
baby,
hey,
Mankind, all
vintage,
them baby.
all vintage, all vintage.
I love it. Attitude era baby, but
Greatest era.
I love it. Glad I was able to see it. But
Yes,
for me, with this Intercontinental Champion match with Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley, U.S. Champion, I'm gonna stick with my brand, Raw, on this one, just because Bobby Lashley is a force to be reckoned with. But who knows? Sami Zayn gets dirty. He'll pull some tricks out of his hat to steal the first victory for the SmackDown brand. And don't get me wrong, I love SmackDown as well. I'm just a huge Raw guy. But Sami Zayn, he'll pull some out his up. He got tricks up his sleeve too. He might not
very.
talk a good game, but he might pull some tricks. But like you say, he got the hurt. Bobby Lashley and his crew always gonna be on his
Her
side.
business.
So I
Yeah,
got
my
Bobby
business.
Lashley starting off the Survivor Series. Raw gonna be gonna have that first one and zero to kick it off.
Okay, and then we have, as we all know, we have the Raw Women's Champion, Asuka, versus the new SmackDown's Women's
Boss.
Champion, Miss Sasha Banks.
Boss.
Miss Boss. With this, you know who I'm going with. You know I'm going with Sasha. You know I'm
I
going with
know you're gonna
Sasha.
pick
I
Sasha.
know I'm going with Sasha after she just successfully retained her belt against Bailey. That proves that she's keeping this title for the long run, and I'm very happy to see Sasha with this. The blueprint will take this one. I'm very certain. She is athletic. She has the skills. She has the style, the physique, and she will beat Asuka at Survivor Series. That is my prediction.
I'm 50-50. That's a toss up because I like Sasha too. I also like Asha, but at the same time, to me, Asha didn't earn her belt, obviously, due to um
Becky Lynch being pregnant.
Becky being
You
pregnant,
know, shout out to
and then
Becky.
you know because they're both good competitors. They are both great competitors, so it can go either way for me. So I mean, if I had to, I'll pick the boss to make it even. But Asha, she ain't gonna just fold, so that's gonna be a good match.
It's going to be a very good match indeed for the women's division. Moving on, we have. Whew, moving on, we have the tag team of both of these brands. Now, this one, we're very highly praising this match right here.
Yes, sir.
Very highly praising. I
Our
like these,
boys.
I like these two teams. These are our boys. We have the Raw Tag Team Champions. Well, they switched belts because they were both drafted from different brands. Well, the Raw Tag Team Champions, the New Day, existing of
New
Xavier
Day.
Woods and Kofi Kingston versus the Street Profits of the team of Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins. Now, cups up, cups up. If you don't know what that means, you got to look them
Cups
up.
up.
These boys right here, I think this is going to be one of the matches of the night next to Oscar and Sasha and the men's tag team as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they brothers, they African American brothers, we applaud them. These brothers are talented. And this is a very hard one for me because I like both. I like both. I like their energy. I like their
Yes.
charismatic. This Friday, it's last Friday now, but this Friday on SmackDown, the Street Profits was looking for some inside information from Big E, and Big
Yeah,
E
I
was like,
see.
nah. That was
Big E.
funny to me. That was funny to me.
Yes,
Even though
yes.
they're on the same brand, Big E was part of the New Day. In case you don't know who Big E Langston is, look him up. Look him up. He's got a
Look them
promising
up.
future this year, and he's on the rise. But look up the Street Profits. Look up the New Day. They are both charismatic teams. I love them. I love them. And whew, I'm gonna have to go with the Profits on this one, dog, because Montez, I like Kofi. I like Xavier. Xavier's coming back from an ACL injury. Shout out
Yes,
to
he
him. He
is.
has his own channel on
Yes.
YouTube called Up Up Down Down. Subscribe to him as well.
Up,
And
up, down, down, baby.
the Street Profits, Montez Ford is that X factor. If you have an X factor of that team, you have Dawkins who have the power, the charisma to get back up. You have Montez Ford is the X factor, Marcellus. Montez goes crazy, shaking the ropes from the heavens is
From the
their finishing
heavens.
move. And I think from the heavens will win
Ooh.
that match. So I'm going
Okay.
with the Profits on this one.
For me, I'm gonna have to go with the New Day.
Ooh,
Just because the fact that I love the New Day. I love Street Profits when they was NXT. I was
yeah,
rocking with the
very,
Cups
very,
when they
very.
was in NXT. But
Coming out with Wale.
you know, me personally, I love them. I love them, man. It's just they do their thing. They do their thing. And Street Profits, like I said, with the Cups up, they came from NXT. They shocked the world, coming to Raw, winning the championships, and saying, you know what, we here now. And so now they compete in the Survivor Series with the New Day, who's in a familiar playground of Survivor Series. Obviously, New Day's out there. Kofi Kingston's been to countless Survivor Series in his 10 years in his years of being in the WWE. Kofi has been there, so I love it. So for me, I'm gonna go with New Day because they're on the Raw brand. But if Street Profit was on the Raw brand, I'm going with Cups Up. But this is gonna be a good match. I'm not knocking this match.
It's
It's gonna
going to
be a
be a
great
very
match.
good match. A very good
Cups
one
Up.
indeed. We got the veterans versus the young bloods. And it's going to be a good one. I'm going hard for this match. I wanted to beat them two teams. No other different. Will I think something happen? I don't want nothing to happen. I want this match. Just let something happen after Survivor Series. But other than that, we're going to move into the women's.
Oh, yeah.
The women's elimination Survivor Series match. Now, there are...
Yes.
The rosters have not been fulfilled yet. I will still keep people up on this. But for Raw, it's already done. SmackDown, on the other hand, still got 3 more people to go. 3 more people to go for the women's. But in my hands, SmackDown hasn't won a women's tag team match in Survivor Series in a long time. I think this will be the year. I think this will be the year. Even though Raw has the power and 1 weak link, I think this will be the year that SmackDown wins due to 1 weak link on Raw. I think that will happen. So the Raw team goes like this. You have a team of Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke. You have the women's tag team champions in Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And you have the weakest link, I think, of the team, Lana. And Lana has been getting put through tables by Nia Jax every week, and it's been a consistent thing. I think she will screw over Team Raw to help Team SmackDown win. And who's on Team SmackDown, may you ask? You have the bestest Bianca Belair. You have Ruby Riott, who's just coming off of an ACL injury, trying to get back in her flow. Mm-hmm. Now, the next 3 people I think that will be on that team, I think you will have Bayley. She just came off her championship loss. I think she'll be a good addition.
Hopefully.
I think you can add Carmella, who's coming back.
Oh, yes. Carmella did shock us yesterday.
She shocked us yesterday by kicking Sasha Banks straight up with her fire attire now.
Yeah.
The queen of Staten Island. Of Staten Island. And you have the 5th member. Now, who would I want to be the 5th member? I think Ruby Riott's teammate Liv Morgan would be a nice fit for the 5th member.
Would be a nice fit.
I think she would be a nice fit. So that's my Survivor Series team for SmackDown. I think they can win due to that weak link in Raw, and that's my prediction. I'm going with it.
For me, I will go with. I can't decide because I like both sides of the women division. But like you said, Lana is a weak link for Raw. Just because, like you said, Nia Jax is constantly putting her through tables.
Constantly. It's a replay every week, bro.
It's like it's a highlight every day. You see it. Lana going through the table. You hear her screaming for dear life.
And nobody's helping.
No
one's helping.
And Nia Jax and her companion, they are 2-headed monsters on winning they deserve them women's belts. They're not going to lose those for a long time. From my understanding, they're not going to lose those at all. They're going to keep those for a while. They're going to keep that title reign going for a while unless something
dominant.
Unless something transpire between both of them where they get into each other. Survivor Series might make that happen. Who knows? I'm not saying it will be. But I believe Team Raw will pull that one out just because of them 2 dominant forces, unless SmackDown get them out the way quickly.
They've been known to do that tonight.
Hey, you want to get Nia out the way? That's what you do.
Take her out.
You got to take the big girl out.
Got to take Shayna out too. That's a tough cookie as well.
Most definitely is.
But We're gonna move on to the main event now. If any other things happen, we'll let you know. The pre-show will always have something, various bunch of teams. But I think what we're going to look out for is the big main event too,
The big one.
which involves the men's traditional elimination match. Now,
Yeah, the co-main event. Yeah.
we're not going to have any champion. Oh, yes, we are. I
Yes,
take
we
that back.
are.
Yeah, that's the co-main event. You're right. You're right.
That's
My
the co-main
broadcast
event.
partner is right.
Yes, sir.
So this is going to be crazy because SmackDown roster is still not fulfilled yet.
Not yet.
I'm anxious to see who's going to get on that. But for the Raw, there's only one spot left. And I'm going to tell you who that one spot left. But Raw, you have the heavy hitters. You have my boy AJ Styles.
Yes, sir. The
You
captain.
have Braun Strowman, the Monster Among Men.
Yes, sir.
You have the Great White Sheamus.
The great
You
one.
have the up-and-comer Limitless Keith Lee. Said it
Keith
right.
Lee.
And you have one spot left. That one spot, I think, is going to go to Drew McIntyre. I think
You believe
due
so?
to the it can be possible. We'll see. But it's either Drew McIntyre or the Fiend. That's what I'm thinking right now in my head.
I don't believe the Fiend would do it.
But I don't think the Fiend's gonna be there. I think Drew McIntyre will be there due to, he's not getting a shot at Survivor Series for the title. So why not put him there? The team
Right.
captain I think will be of that team. I think would be Drew because he's the most, charismatic leadership person on that team. I
Yes.
would love it to be AJ, but that's not gonna happen. Nobody's
Nah.
gonna listen to AJ because he's the smallest one on the team. Though he do have some big backup. Put that out there. He does have big backup. But for the SmackDown team, they only got 2 entrances. So there's 3 other spots left. To be honest, I can't really predict who's gonna be on the 3 spots because we got Kevin Owens for 1. Oh, my bad. It's 2 more spots left. Is it 2? No, it's 1 more spot. Okay, 1 more spot. My fault. My fault. You got Jay Uso,
The ooh.
the Uso. You got the prize fighter, Kevin Owens, the pride of Toronto. I mean, Canada. He's from Montreal.
Montreal.
Montreal, shout out to Montreal. You got King Corbin,
King Corbin.
Mr. King of the Ring. And you have the Messiah, Seth Rollins, Friday Night Rollins. You only got 1 spot left. And I think, and I know you know what I'm thinking, who's that last spot going to be?
Ooh.
Mr. Big E. That would be perfect.
It would be.
Big E, the last spot for the Survivor Series team, or it's going to be Lars Sullivan. But I think Big E is the one who I would want to be in that spot. Now,
Ooh.
or let's say if Sami Zayn wants to put his title up before, and I think Big E and him will fight, I think Big E would be in that picture with Bobby Lashley. But don't take me on that. But Big E, I think, would be perfect for that Survivor Series spot.
Yes.
I think he would. And my prediction for that, whew, I'm gonna have to go with SmackDown. Raw does have the heavy hitters, but they do have some people on that team that's beefing with each other. Like
Yes.
Braun and Keith Lee. Sheamus, he gets along with some people. AJ, his persona, I like AJ, that's my guy. But his persona could get in the way too.
Yes.
I think Drew McIntyre will put up a valiant effort, but this SmackDown team, that's tough on the SmackDown team too, because Jey Uso only listens to one person, and that's his cousin Roman Reigns. He's gonna get to Roman Reigns in a second, but I think the SmackDown team has the potential to beat Raw, and I think what you gotta do, you gotta take Braun out first. Keith Lee's unstoppable. You gotta take Braun out.
Yes.
Braun and Keith Lee are the 2 persons you have to watch for. You have to watch for McIntyre as well. He has the Claymore. And he's very upset at Randy Orton. So he might want to take that out on some SmackDown people. But SmackDown has talent. They have bronze and wits too. And they have that unforgivable fight. So I'm gonna have to go with SmackDown on this one as well.
For me, it's a tough one, tough pill to swallow. Because I like all of them. So that one is a toss up of guys. that you can predict that can have a say so, because something might happen. There's always something that happens for me when it comes to Survivor Series. You might see somebody trade brands, um,
Somebody might screw their brands, you know.
or screw their brand as well. So like I was saying, trade brands. You might see like you might not think um, what that was going on. So I'm gonna say SmackDown on this one, just because Raw has too many enemies on one team. SmackDown will put some could put aside their differences for the match. So I think SmackDown would take it. I think what's his name? Big E did the last spot just so he can show that he's the good by himself again. And to me, I think Big E might go bad. He might be the one to trade on his brand just so he can get his chance. Well, not really to get his chance at Sami Zayn, but if he is the champion, if we don't know what's going to happen from here until Survivor Series, if he is the champion, he beats Sami Zayn. That's going to be a good fight between him and Bobby.
I agree.
Two dominant guys, two big alpha males.
And the only reason why I say this is because the Hurt Business has business with the New Day.
Yes. So it's a lot going on. Anything can happen with the New Day. Sad that they had to get split up like that in the draft, but it happens. So that's what I think, and that's what happened. I'm gonna take SmackDown on that one.
True.
The big
Let's see.
event though, that's the match I'm looking to see. Big Dog and a
The
killer.
main event. The main event. You know, before I move in, I had to respond to something. The main event.
Yes, Big Dog, Randy Orton, and Randy Orton and the Big Dog. I'm not feeling Roman Reigns' heel, but I like it a little bit. To get his family to come together with him. Or he already has Jay. He just need the other one. Um,
Yes, the main event, as he was saying before, I had to handle business. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, not the big dog no more. The tribal
Tribal
chief.
Chief.
Get that
Excuse me,
right.
Mr. Reigns.
And
The
you
Chief.
have Randy Orton, the Viper. This is going to be a good match. And my money's on Roman. Roman's got the heat on him. I know Randy just won, but Randy's having problems on his own against Raw. Against The Fiend, who never forgets what Randy did to him 2 years ago when he burned down the house. And he got Drew McIntyre, who's won his rematch.
Yes.
So hopefully that'll get settled after Survivor Series. I would love to see that.
Or doing Survivor Series. You never know. And you gotta
Mm,
also be aware, sidebar, the Miz can cash in on anybody.
yes, he can't. He took the Money in the Bank briefcase from Otis, and the Miz has been successful once. He did it against Randy Orton once. He can do it again. But down the road, we'll see. But here's the thing: this tribal chief,
Tribal Chief.
he's the big deal. He's a big deal.
Still big dog.
Coming off that Hell in a Cell victory against his cousin Jay, Jay has to bow to get down or lay down. He's getting
Yes.
down now. I want to see that heel stable. Because if it plays right, you can
Mm-hmm.
have The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania, hopefully. But to me, I think the big dog will win due to interference by the Fiend or Drew McIntyre, whatever happens. Or it can go either way. Daniel Bryan can come back and have some beef with Roman after what Jay did to him last week as well. So
Yes.
it can go either way. It's a toss up 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
But in my head, I'm going with the hottest thing in WWE right now, which is Mr. Tribal Chief Roman Reigns.
I'm gonna have to give Randy Orton the edge on this one.
Ooh,
That's
you
my
going with
guy.
RKO.
That's my guy.
It's
I
my
love
guy
Randy
too,
Orton.
but
The only reason I'm gonna give him just the slightest edge is the fact that yeah, he has a lot. He got to watch his back because he don't know what can happen that night. Um, between him, Drew McIntyre, and the Fiend. Obviously, he has some history with both of them. Obviously, now with Drew McIntyre. So, but with the Fiend, we already know what happened. He burned down Sister Abigail's house years ago. So that's just something you don't do. Um, And so Randy Orton to get the edge just because I feel that it might be interference, but Jay might mess it up for the tribal chief because now you're helping him. You're gonna be on the side of the ropes with Paul Heyman. So at
That
the end
is
of the
true.
day, are you gonna be a distraction on the side with Paul Heyman to help him win this match, or are you gonna let him do it on his own? Now, if you see that he's getting beat up by the Legend Killer, aka he say he ain't the Legend Killer no more, he is the Legend now. Mr. Randy Orton, he's the Legend now. He ain't the Legend Killer no more. He's the Legend. The Viper, Mister Out of Nowhere. Is it gonna be beneficial? Toss up. I don't know. We don't know, but I believe until up to this point, I'm gonna put Randy Orton. Raw, I believe Raw will have the edge to win the whole thing. Just because some matches might be a little shaky than others, you don't know what's gonna happen. Somebody might get disqualified. It might be some interference going on, some distractions. So that's why I say Raw might have an up edge because each match somebody has something going on. Except like I think the tag team title, the tag team match with our boys. With the women's division. Carmella, is Carmella gonna attack
I forgot
Sasha
Oscar got
Banks?
beef. Oscar got beef for Retribution too. So
Oscar has beef with
yeah,
Retribution.
so we
So
might it's a toss up, but
you might see Retribution in this Survivor Series of the Raw brand. They might interrupt that match.
like I said, anything can happen this year. More than last year, anything can happen because you don't have that third brand. But the storylines will get interesting.
Yes, they
And
will be.
I think SmackDown will have the advantage, but it can go 50-50,
Either way.
So, yeah. But that concludes my topics, I think today we had a very
Productive
eventful
day.
first episode.
Yes.
Along the way, me and my broadcast partner to the left of me, as I can see on my screen, we're going to be bringing people on sooner than later.
Yeah, we're gonna
As we
have
go
guests.
through various episodes, we're going to have guests. We're going to have people that we know, people who are starting their own brands, and people, who just want to come on here and just talk stuff. We can talk opinions and stuff and have nice conversations. We also going to talk about more stuff other than sports when we bring those people on. So stay on the tune for that.
Yes,
And
sir.
if you want to do polls and stuff, of what you would like us to discuss, we're going to do that upcoming as well. We're just starting out. We're just getting this thing rolling.
Yes.
And we have the passion to do this, Anything you want to say before we, say adios, Mr. Forbes?
I hope y'all done tuned in the show, like you said. Hope y'all enjoyed our first podcast, first episode. Very eventful. I loved it. We're gonna keep pushing forward. Thanks for all the supporters out there who's supporting us and will support us throughout the future. Future episodes, future guests that, like you said, we're gonna have on the show. Um, it's gonna be a great way to end the year out. Some positive, a nice podcast to start the new year 2021 off with a bang. Definitely gonna have a great episode come New Year's. Might have a guest. We don't know yet, or it might just be us, but we'll know down the road. But again, if you got any questions or concerns, feel free to comment. You can hit us up on our pages. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow him on Twitter. You can follow us on social media. It's in the comments below in the description. So feel free to add us on any of those brands.
And just like that, we out of here.
We
Peace and
out.
blessings.
Locker room is closed. No more locker room talk.
No more. See you
Whatever happens
next
in the
week.
locker room stays in the locker room.
See you next week, peeps.